Another quick note too, I have some slides I want to go over to kind of set the stage a little bit, give you a little bit of background on Shibumi, the company. But then we have a live demonstration of our software in action. So excited to show that, and hopefully things go off without a hitch. So let's get started. Let's see, push, that's the button. So we are going to talk a lot about AI today. That's kind of the primary reason we're all together. But strategic initiative management is really what we do, is what the software and the company supports for all of our customers and our partners out there in the world. And really the form that takes most often is a transformation program. So you'll hear me use that word quite often as I'm clicking through and talking today. But a transformation program is usually what we mean when we say strategic initiative management. Those initiatives are the ideas and what you hope to achieve as a result of a transformation. So what is Shibumi? What's a Shibumi, as we often say at the company? Well, first of all, we're a software company. We were founded about 12 years ago, and we are a software platform geared to managing transformation programs with companies really across the world. A transformation program is, usually something like a digital transformation or a cost transformation program. So if some of these logos that you see on the screen here, they were all interested in transforming their organization in a pretty meaningful way across a lot of different business units, geographic regions, teams, process areas, a lot of different ways that they wanted to transform the organization. And that transformation involved a lot of different people, a lot of different planning was involved in it. And that's what the platform does. It manages all of that and helps kind of the stakeholders and the executives stay informed and understand what we hope to achieve with this transformation and how well we're getting there. We have partnered with just about all of the big strategic consulting companies out there. So the likes of Bain and BCG and McKinsey and Deloitte and E&Y and PwC, and the list goes on. And they often use our software to manage these transformation programs, because when a Vueling or a Liberty Mutual or one of these large companies wants to execute a pretty large transformation program within their business, oftentimes they look for help to do that. Not only software help, which we provide, but consulting help, which those other companies provide. So we often are partnered with them when we work with our customers to really provide them the software and the methods and the approach to really make this transformation a success. So that's what the software primarily does. And the way that it works is we often go through a bit of a life cycle. This innovation life cycle, or the transformation life cycle, as other people call it, is really central to how we see the world and how we see these transformation programs executing. And it always starts with, what are you trying to do? What are the outcomes that your business is looking to achieve? You always have to start with kind of what does success look like? So as you're defining these outcomes, these are the objectives within the company that you want to realize. But then you often define KPIs around, how do we know we've achieved that objective? Well, you have to measure it, and that's the KPI. So you define your outcomes, you define a library of KPIs you'll use to measure your performance, your progress towards those outcomes. But now you need to do something about it, right? How are you actually going to achieve those outcomes? Well, you have to generate ideas, right? You have to ideate. This is done by the business itself. You can include really everybody in the company to start to ideate. And how do you think we could achieve, some, increasing ARR, increasing revenue, something, as simple as that. And then of course it gets more specific. Well, you would ideate, you would capture those ideas in the system. And then just as important as identifying the idea is creating the business case. Because we need some measurement, we need some ROI associated with the idea. We have this set of outcomes we want to achieve. How is your idea going to enable us and allow us to achieve or contribute to the achievement of that outcome? That's the benefits that we're going to get from that idea. But then, of course, there's costs as well. So we need to know those. We need to know both of those things, and then we can generate that ROI related to all of the ideas. Then we have that great source of data to then start making some decisions on what to invest in, right? We rank, we prioritize. Investment governance is very key to what we provide to our customers. They need to be able to understand what the ROI is, where they're placing their dollars and their resources. It's not always money, it's time and effort that you're going to spend on all of these ideas. And then you move into, ultimately, you do approve some set of those and you monitor and execute on them. And in this piece, we often integrate here. Actually, we integrate all over the place. That's a really common thing. But in this, we very often do into like an MS project, for instance. And there could be, a 500-line work plan to actually execute on this idea. But we want to integrate to it and pull out the major milestones. And really, the milestones we care about are the ones that are going to unlock the benefit. All right, the ones that, like if it's a system, the go live date, that means that we actually start getting benefit from all the work that we've done. And we're very much interested in that benefit primarily. Because we can now track that benefit and we can see if in fact we are receiving it, right, through this benefit realization phase. And make sure that we deliver on the outcomes that we defined in the very beginning, right? So it's this continuous loop that you navigate around. Now, finally, AI. What we're primarily talking about today. We are integrating AI into our platform to allow our customers to get around this lifecycle faster and more efficiently. And that's really the only reason we care about AI. It's not because it's some cool new toy we get to play with. It's getting our customers around this life cycle faster and more efficiently. So as they define their outcomes, they can actually start realizing value and achieving the targets that they had set on those KPIs they're using to measure their performance. So that really comes into then AI as a way to ensure success, to ensure these successful transformations. And we've kind of conceptually grouped it into three categories. And the first one being recommending best practices. So the idea here is, as we're starting that life cycle, as we're going around that circle, can we leverage AI to recommend a set of initiatives that we should think about? Maybe we won't do them exactly, but we're starting from a populated page instead of a blank page. Maybe it can also, based on my company size and my industry and my revenue and kind of where we have some corporate goals already defined, can it start recommending some KPIs that I should use based on benchmarks from the industry? And so essentially it can start populating some of this data for me instantly, so I can get started faster, right? I can get moving around that circle faster. Then once we have populated all of those ideas, help me out, AI. There's a ton of data that we capture within our business cases. Can you help me make sense of the 200 initiative ideas that I have to sift through? And which ones are the riskiest? Which ones will deliver near-term benefit as opposed to long-term benefit? Can we use AI then to, if let's say we've already been running this program for a year and we have a lot of historical performance captured, can we use that to predict future performance? And then finally, the optimized performance. So this is kind of when we're going through execution. And maybe a major milestone that is going to unlock a huge amount of benefit for us. It might not be late, but it could be dependent on other milestones that are becoming late. And it still hasn't actually caused us to be late yet, but that buffer between my dependent milestone and me is shrinking. That's increasing the risk. And so I should know about that. I want to preemptively, right? I want to take action before my milestone becomes late and we miss that benefit milestone, that benefit date that we are counting on. So these are different ways that we're integrating AI into the platform to just make it simpler and get around that life cycle faster. The specific kind of AI capabilities we're adding into the platform to make all of this happen are the 5 that you see on the screen here. And we are in the middle of this implementation. So all of these are available now. You can start using them immediately, and we will continue, over time to add more and more capability into each one of them. And it's a bit of the demonstration that I want to get into today is actually showing you some of the stuff that we have available now. So I'll quickly run through these and then we'll jump into Shibumi itself in a second here. But AI Analyze, first one that you see on the top there. So the idea here is just through simple prompts, right? We're using an LLM behind the scenes to power this. I can start asking the system questions around what's the optimal set of initiatives that I should invest in. What are the ones, the lowest risk with the highest ROI? Which ones will start this year? Based on the ones starting this year, what value do I get from them? So you can ask really anything of the initiatives, and it will be able to respond to you in natural language. AI Predict is the one that is really looking at past performance. So once you have been executing within Shibumi for some period of time, and you have some historical performance captured within the system, we can then mine that data and identify any kind of key data points that determine success. So, it's maybe, ones from HR that focus on, a particular system, or even have a particular team working on it. They seem to have more success. Well, okay, we can mine that, understand that, and then be able to use that as we're looking at future initiatives that we should invest in. The really fun thing about this one too is we're doing this now, and it's identifying things that you wouldn't even think of. It's just crunching through all of the raw data and identifying certain aspects of the initiatives that indicate success. And sometimes it's surprising. It's fun to watch. AI Create. So this is cool. I'll be able to show this when we're in the product demo. But the idea is that we really just want to make it easier to use Shibumi. And so, for instance, creating a dashboard. We have a pretty extensive dashboarding capability in the system. Now you can just create dashboards through a prompt. You can just type, please create me an initiative dashboard showing stage and benefit. And you get it. It'll create it for you automatically. You don't even have to know how to create a dashboard in the system. AI recommend, we'll look at this one again too, because this is pretty key. This is around recommending content, recommending the metrics that you should, and KPIs that you should focus on, and the initiatives that you should consider, and even the milestones within those initiatives that you should think about. Ultimately, it's all about having some data populated into the system for you to react to, as opposed to just an empty Shibumi, right? Where you got to make it up all on your own. And it may be incorrect, as we know, some of this stuff is good, some of it's bad, but it's a starting point and it'll get you moving faster than having nothing. And then finally, AI support. This one is, so we have quite an extensive set of help documentation in support of the system. And so we've used that as a training material to train an LLM. And so now you can just get help through prompts, right? You can just ask questions and get answers straight within the system. So the last thing I will mention is this concept we call it SAIL. It's Shibumi AI layer. And the idea here is we are integrating to different AI vendors to enable all of this, all of the capabilities that we saw on the previous slide. And all of them are out of the box, and you can use them with no configuration. It just works. But for some of our more advanced customers and some of our partners who may be producing their own AI tools, we can tie in to those as well. And so we can use them as the underlying service behind the scenes to power all of the AI capabilities within Shibumi. And for a lot of our more kind of data cautious customers out there who are really concerned with what data is getting shared with these AI services, this allows you to define exactly what you're sharing with those other AI services and what you do with the response that you get from it. So we really make it completely configurable for you. And so, a common example, and I'm going to pop to one slide here and then we'll move into the demo just to illustrate this, is let's say I want to set up some capability to automatically update a status message for me. I don't want to have to manually type this thing every week. I want to be able to send some data to, in this case, in this little example, OpenAI, and then I want it to summarize that data for me, and then I want that to be my status. Well, this requires sharing data with OpenAI, right? It obviously does. It needs to summarize it. But this allows you to set up exactly what you want to share and exactly the data elements from Shibumi that you want to share with that AI vendor, in this case, OpenAI. And then you get a response and you write it into your status summary within the system. So this level of control is available as a result of SAIL. Again, all of the AI capability that we'll look at today is out of the box. It just works. But we also have this layer, this AI layer behind the scenes, where you can take control at quite a granular level of all of this information being passed. Okay. With that, let's jump into a quick product demo to show you how some of this stuff comes to life within the system. Let's see, so hopefully I do this right. Okay, so we should see a program called Unlock Full Potential within Shibumi. Joe, are we seeing that, just to do a quick sanity check for myself?
Yep, seeing it well.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is a transformation program. This program is really trying to create some efficiencies within the business and how it's run. It has a set of objectives that it is targeting, that it wants to improve. And this is a pretty general example. Usually it's a little more targeted than this, but we want to reduce operating costs and risk. We want to increase revenues, some basic stuff that really all companies want to do. And we've organized these objectives into a bit of a structure. So, there might be C-level objectives at the top, and then those may break down into like business unit objectives that we're targeting. And this could be quite involved, depending on how you want to organize the objectives. But for every single one of these objectives, we're measuring it with a set of KPIs. And so these are all of the financial KPIs that we want to improve as a result of this program. We want to, increase revenue and CapEx and OpEx and gross margin. These are all of the financial benefits that we want to influence and change in one form or another. And we've set targets for every single one of them to get there. And then there are a set of non-financial targets that we've set, right? So these are measurable over time, but it's just not dollars and cents that we're measuring. Right? It's employee satisfaction or CO2 emissions or, whatever it is. That's where we're capturing that. So we've defined all of this. And now if we look at some of, the AI capabilities baked in, let's pretend that I have defined, I have an idea for an initiative. This initiative is called Green Tech Adoption. And here we go. There we go. Green Tech Adoption. I created it, and I started to capture some basic details about it. Right. So, what is it intended to do? What is my idea? Give me a little bit of detail about this idea. By the way, I could have even used AI to populate these fields, right, as another shortcut to get some of this data in. Once I've done that, though, I need to define a business case. I need to capture the benefits and the costs around this adoption of green tech. And maybe I'm struggling a little bit. I don't know exactly what to choose, and I want some help. And so basically what I can do is leveraging AI recommend, like we saw on the previous screen. I can ask AI, based on this detail that I've added into the charter, what are some business benefits that I should focus on and include in this business case? And so it's done that, right? It's populated this list. So maybe, I don't know, carbon footprint reduction and renewable energy utilization. These look good. I like those two. I'm going to include them into my business case. And right now, we've given some detail around them, but now I need to really quantify it, right? So how much? How much reduction are we going to get? And then, most importantly, what benefit that we set, what KPI that we're using to measure our achievement against our objectives, is this in support of? Right? So, I don't know. This is probably not the greatest example, but I'll just choose OpEx. And so we connect this one benefit in green tech adoption to the overall KPI of OpEx that we're using to measure the success of this entire program that we're doing. Right? So this alignment is really important. And then I save it off, and I can continue putting together the business case. Okay. Well, I need to think about some milestones now, too, that we have to think about. And so I can do the same process again. What are some milestones that I should consider as a result of this green tech adoption? And so I can ask AI again, it'll pass some of that information, and I'll get back a set of results, there they are, that I should think about. So, you know, I don't know, maybe this, we should do that, and this one, and that one, and, you know, basically build out a bit of a milestone, a set of milestones to consider. I won't keep going with this, but you get the idea that we could start populating, you know, the dependencies between the milestones and some of the major risks that we should consider, and actions, you know, and populate the RAID log with this. And so I can essentially get help, right? That's what it's about. Get help to populate that business case and be able to submit it off for approval, to move into the execution phase of the life cycle, right? And apply that investment governance, and move forward with the initiative. So on that topic, investment governance, let's say a lot of initiatives have been populated with a business case into the system. And now we need to start making some decisions, what to invest in, and what not to. And so our pipeline shows us all of the initiatives that are sitting in stage 1 or 2. So for us, that's pre-funding. We haven't yet approved and funded them and, you know, allocated resources and all the rest of it. And so I need to understand kind of what do I get, right? If I were to approve one versus another. I can definitely peek into the initiative, and see what it's doing, and start to understand kind of what I get, in form of benefits and how much is it going to cost. But I can also then start interacting with AI. So what initiatives, if I could type, should I invest in that deliver maximum ROI this year with the lowest risk? And some of these are worded very poorly, but it's been interesting to see they are still understood, right? And you still get decent results as a result of them. So there we go. Green tech, the one that we were just looking at, has the lowest risk. Are there any others? And so you can, you know, have these conversations essentially with it, asking questions, and then based on that business case and the dates and, you know, the information that we have about the initiative, you'll get back some results. How about next year? That's pretty. How about next year? Just to get a few more populated in here. And so basically, it starts to clue you in, right, to which ones look good, and you can move forward, approve those, and move forward into execution as a result. Okay, it looks like my data is not very good in this example. Apologize about that. So we'll close that off. Now let's keep moving around that life cycle. Let's pretend that we have approved some initiatives and we're in execution mode. And this one is in execution. So if I drill into that one, I look at this one. You know, I'm working on the initiative, I'm participating in this, and I need to update status. Maybe this is a weekly thing that we do around updating status. So for this, again, we can start to leverage AI to start summarizing data for us. There's a lot of data captured in the financials. By the way, these are the benefits and the costs for this initiative. We expect to get some amount of benefit over a period of time and incur some cost. And we create an ROI timeline to visualize and understand that, right? So this is why we got approval to move forward, because this benefit timeline is moving up and to the right, right? Essentially, it's positive ROI. And this fit with everything else we were looking at. There's a set of milestones we're executing on that we're already late on, so that's an issue. But essentially, we'll get a status recommendation and be able to either accept it and move it into our current status or modify it. And maybe here, you can come into here and say, nah, I don't need any of that. That's unnecessary. But then move it over into my current status, and I'm done. Another application of this summarization capability is, let's say there's 100 initiatives that are currently in flight with status messages. Well, summarize all of those 100 into a kind of an executive summary status for me. So that's another great application of the same capability to be able to summarize the information this way. So now let's keep moving on. So now we've looked at some of that execution and summarization. Now maybe we're in the execution mode, and an executive wants a new dashboard created, right? One that we don't have, some different view of the data that we don't currently have. Well, we need to create a dashboard in support of that. So here I can come in, I can add, I don't know, new initiative dashboard, initiative dashboard. There we go. I can create it. And now I don't really know what to do next. I need initiatives, but where do I go? Instead, I'm just going to go here, create a dashboard of initiatives. If I could type initiatives with, let's see, stage, what work stream they're in, and estimated annual benefit. Hopefully it sees that initiative is spelled wrong. I don't know, this will be a good test. We'll see if it actually works. Okay, good, it did. So it gave me kind of what I asked for, right? So if I now look at this, I have all of my initiatives by the stage they're currently in, the work stream that they're organized under, and then the estimated annual benefit. So what's the ROI for each one of these annually? And then it did also notice that this was a number, right? This column is a number, so it summarized that number for me up on the top. So now, 14.5 is kind of the total annual benefit for all of the initiatives in the list. And I could click on that and look at the details there. There are 22 in this list. That's why I'm seeing that 22 up there. And it even started to add some filters in here. So what about what's in stage 1? What's in stage 2? What's in finance? So you can start to slice it. And all of that was done just through the prompt, right? And I can come back here again after the fact, right? And go into, add another number at, actually, what other columns can I add? Maybe I don't know. There's a ton of data we're capturing about initiatives. Not exactly sure what to ask for. So you can do things like this, and it'll answer you with a list of all of the data fields, right, that we're tracking about an initiative. And you can see there's a bunch here. So maybe I want to add, let's just do, what's a good one? Add, oh geez, there's a lot. I'll just pick some 51 and 64. How about? So hopefully whatever that was, we will get added into this. Okay, cool. Status indicator, we got that, and program. That's not very interesting. We could remove it. But that's the idea, right? To build up these dashboards just through simple prompts. So then finally, let's come back to the program, just again, navigating around our wheel. We have been executing and we have been realizing some of this value as a result of investing into this set of initiatives. And I want to end the demonstration here in this tab. It works the same way with non-financial benefits, but this is really where you see the result of your effort within Shibumi. So We've set some targets around, revenue and gross margin and these types of things. And these targets are over time. So maybe, this quarter, I want to hit this amount of revenue, and next quarter and next year and next 5 years. You can define all of that within the system. And then the plan and the forecast are really coming from your initiatives. So as you were building out your business case for each one of your initiatives, you were capturing what the business believes they can achieve in support of that benefit of revenue or OpEx or whatever you were focused on measuring. This is what you believe you can deliver to the business as a result of executing on these initiatives. That's your plan. And then as you get closer, that plan really turns into the forecast. That's what you're forecasting you'll do as a business. And then finally, you have your actuals. And your actuals are typically integrated. This is another very common point of integration for us. There could be a Oracle or a SAP or something like that is actually measuring this. And we can pull that number automatically down. And then you really understand where you wanted to go, where you were predicting and estimating you were going to get, and then where you landed. The other key point of all of this is it's all over time. So you could really simply understand, what's benefit I'm going to get this year. Maybe it's tough times. We need to make sure we got positive ROI this year. Or maybe things are going well, we want to invest in the future. So we really care about run rate, out year. And so what does the next 2 years look like for us? All of this benefit is mapped over a period of time. So you can really understand that and project off into the future where you'll be. And so that transformation program, really comes to life. You can measure it very accurately and understand what you're going to be able to deliver back to the business. So that's it. That's the highlights of what I wanted to talk through and show today. And please, if there are any questions, fire away.
Thanks, Mark. Great presentation. Seems like a really awesome tool, especially for all this different financial forecasting. And like Mark said to everybody, if you do have questions, make sure that you send them in now, as you do have Mark, the founder, on here of Shibumi. Again, not very often that you have a founder that is able to come on and present to you. So definitely a huge advantage to having you on with us today, Mark, and we appreciate that. And a lot of the times, Mark, questions do come in a little bit later. So if we do have some on the after action report, we'll make sure to send them over to your team. But so audience, just last chance to have some questions in. I know a lot was covered there. And Mark, I mean, you did such a great job that you might not have too many questions. It seems like you kind of covered a lot of bases there.
Yeah, I'll just bring up, actually I'll stop sharing, but just bring up this slide, as something to stare at as we're thinking about it. But it is just so core to our approach and what we do, and how we really ensure these transformations are successful for our customers.
What do you think would be like your top use case scenario for this, if you're able to share?
Yeah, so our top use case is really kind of three actually. So either digital or cost transformations. Those are just so common. We do those all the time. So a digital transformation, you want to transform the business and move into a, kind of a different way of operating and delivering your services, whatever they may be, more digitally focused. Cost transformation is just trying to control and constrain costs within the organization. The other one that we see very often too is, especially now, it's growing more and more, is applying this same life cycle to an innovation office. So, we've been talking a lot about AI today, but on the flip side of that is every company wants to incorporate AI into their business and automate certain things. And so there's probably a lot of ideas to apply AI into operating the company. you can't say yes to everything, right? There's not enough people and time and resources to say yes to everything. So a lot of companies are now starting to apply this life cycle. And the thing that they're managing is the idea to apply AI. And they're pushing it through this life cycle to provide some kind of control and governance around it. We see that one really growing quickly, right? We're past this first initial phase of, oh, it's so cool, I just want to do it. Whatever your AI idea is, let's do it. And now to, well, hold on, we need to get some kind of positive ROI behind all of this great application of AI.
Yeah. I know we're seeing that a lot. It's how is AI going to actually give us a return on our investment? And that's what, we have a lot of different speakers that come to all of our in-person events, and they're always on the end user side of things. And they talk about, okay, AI is great as a buzzword. It's great to implement, but how is it that we know that we're actually saving any money on this? And it seems like what you guys are doing is a good tool to actually make sure that you are.
Exactly. Yeah. It fits our, our standard approach that you see here really well to quantify the ROI and then track it, make sure you're getting it.
Awesome. Well, Mark, so it looks like we're not getting any questions in here, but again, I'm sure that when you guys do your follow-up, you're going to have plenty of questions and a lot of interest on this, because I know how useful this can be as a tool. So thanks for joining us today, Mark, and thank you to our audience. We hope to see you on another Tech Talk again soon. As you